Do you invite others into your noodle day with you?
Yes, you can co-noodle.
No.
It's like there's like noodle plus there's noodle pluses. Like
Canoodle.
That's you just said
like
canoodle.
canoodle.
you
Canoodling.
can co-noodle, and also some people you might not be good co-noodles for you. You have to have like
This
a
is true.
compatible noodle.
I'm crying. This is hilarious.
I'm serious. I know you think this is funny, but
Hi, everyone, and welcome to My Lawyer Friend. I'm your host, Ann Easton.
And I'm your co-host, Brittany Ledford. We're here to break down legal topics, lifestyle commentary, and speak with our lawyer friend, Ann.
Yeah, that's us. Casual, informative, and always real. Let's get into it. Before we start, the information, opinions, and recommendations presented on this podcast are for general informational purposes only and shouldn't be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. You shouldn't act or refrain from acting on the basis of any content included on this podcast without seeking legal or other professional advice. We are simply providing insight into our past professional experiences, and should you need legal advice or other advice, you can certainly contact me or Brittany, or we can connect you with an able-minded attorney or other business professional.
So, Ann, we're back again for another episode of My Lawyer Friend. And
Yeah,
I
we
have
are.
to ask you, what are we here for today?
Well, we're here to talk about a couple of different things. We're going to talk on the legal side a little bit about what happens to a lot of different workers called worker misclassification. And it's where employees get misclassified as independent contractors. And we'll also answer some questions about that. But what's a little more exciting to me is that we have a revolutionary here. And her name is Leah, and she's a very dear friend of mine. And she is going to talk about noodling.
So, you know, now that I'm from the South, and noodling is a form of fishing with your hands in holes that you can't see what you're sticking your hand in. Is that what we're talking about today? I just got to be clear here.
Yeah, no, confirmed it is not that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more about what this really is.
I know. So, Leah, actually, with that said, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and give us some of your background?
sure. So as Anne mentioned, I am one of her dear friends, and it's an honor. I currently work for the KINN, which is a conscious community hub for
Where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have programming from professional development, personal development, and healing. And it's just a really beautiful community of people who are here to contribute, give, and receive.
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing.
And I invented noodling.
Yes, you did. And you know what? She also invented My Lawyer Friend, the title of our show here. She just told me that's what she calls me when she talks about me or references me.
Well, I mean, not all the time.
Not all the time.
but when appropriate. And
when appropriate,
I
yeah.
had no idea that I was a part of this name, or that I gave you this idea.
You did.
You are my lawyer friend.
Exactly.
And
But Brittany actually expanded on it at one point. I kind of liked that. And I don't think I've worn that silk skirt since. But she said, it's my lawyer friend in a silk skirt and t-shirt. So maybe I need to wear more silk skirts.
we like silk skirts.
And more band t-shirts that I don't listen to that often.
Graphic tees.
Graphic tees.
I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
look. Silk and
It is. It's a cute look, right?
It was
It's like a little
cute.
tie. Yeah. for
try
sure.
sequins. I like the sequins look with a band tee.
Yeah, mini skirt.
Sequin pants,
I do have a sequin skirt.
sequin skirt.
But I don't know. I'm getting older. Can I wear sequin
stop.
mini skirt still?
Sparkles are not tacky. They're happy.
Oh, that's really cute. Okay, with that said, so I feel like we should move on to some law stuff, right?
Yeah, and I have a question.
Yeah,
Because
go for it.
we've been talking, and I think that this is a conversation that Leah can definitely be a part of after getting to know her. So, Ann, this is a question for you.
Okay.
What is worker misclassification, and why do we care?
Well, I kind of briefly touched on this, but worker misclassification is where an independent contractor that really fits the criteria of an employee gets misclassified as an independent contractor for, one reason or another, either by contract or in fact, and however it is that they have been employed. And it's kind of a big deal because a lot of these people don't realize when they enter into these contracts, these employment agreements that are actually employment agreements, but they're acting as an independent contractor, that they're leaving all of these huge benefits on the table, like from unemployment benefits to worker compensation. And then sometimes, when you're an employee, you get health benefits. And I mean, there's all these other statutory rights that you have under the labor code as well. And those all get left on the table.
As you talk about this, it just is reminiscent of something I think I saw in the news, I don't know, a while back, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a case with Uber?
Yeah, there was a really big case with Uber, actually. Great question. And this is, could be a really big topic. So I'm going to just briefly say that Uber, a bunch of the drivers for Uber in California and Massachusetts all banded together and said that they were misclassified as independent contractors and they were all actually employees of Uber. And obviously Uber fought it, but they were fighting it in the courts, and they settled for $100 million outside of court, meaning that we didn't get an answer for the public about who these people are. So they're all actually still misclassified in my mind as an independent contractor. However, in a sense, they're kind of in this gray area, and that's actually what we're going to talk about sort of what happens in that gray area today. But because they settled, and when cases like this get settled outside of court, we don't get an answer. And so the legislature in California did actually pass a law that we all voted on and passed. And it's still being challenged in the court by probably Uber and bigger companies like that, Lyft.
This is super interesting. I guess for me, and for the point of the show, how would this relate to us? Myself, even Leah, we come from different backgrounds and have different needs, and it probably applies to both of us in different ways. Can you lay that out for us a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I am a California attorney. So first of all, I'm going to focus on California law. There are similar laws in other states, but California has heavily litigated this. So we actually have some pretty great tests that we can go off of here. So I'm talking about California law, and I apologize if you're in another state, but there are different tests in your other states like New York, and the big cities have great information that you can find there, but I can help you with those things too. But in really heavily saturated job markets, and kind of even when you're young, when you're starting out in your career, you kind of take the job based on how your employer decides to hire you. And you don't really know when you take a job that you're being classified as an independent contractor and that you're giving up certain rights that you actually have. So in the sense of it being relevant to either of you and our listeners, Brittany is a business owner. She owns multiple businesses, and she has to hire a lot of people. And I think that you did mention something the other day about what your HR person told you, which we can talk about and touch on in a bit. But Leah, you are a freelance worker in a lot of ways, and it impacts you because you might be classified as an independent contractor, and maybe you want to be employee, or you maybe actually are okay with being an independent contractor.
I am right now contemplating if it would be wiser for me to stay an independent contractor or move into being an employee.
Okay.
And that's actually what I'm most interested in learning about.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I, before we get into any test or anything, I'll explain that. So if you wanted to be classified as an independent contractor as opposed to an employee, then you would have to ensure that your relationship with your employer or the hiring entity that's hired you falls within certain structures, basically. Like they can't, and I'll go through these things that an employer actually has to say or has to prove that their contractor is or does in order to say that they are an independent contractor. But you would have to essentially make sure that you are allowed to go on vacation whenever you want to. Like if you want to pick up and go to Europe, you can do that because you're an independent contractor. They cannot tell you cannot do that. Also, another good way of saying it is that you don't have set hours. Like say you like to work 9 to 5, but they can't tell you that you can't work 9 to 5.
Right. But if
or that
if
you like
I
have to
want
work
to
separate
work
hours.
9 to 5 and that works for me and I've made that choice, it's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
Isn't it that I just need, is it true that that they give me some goals or roles or responsibilities, and as long as I'm achieving, what is is it a project based? How does it?
So we're going to get into all of that.
Would this be a good time to talk about the test that we spoke about previously that really is a way to assess a lot of the questions she has?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. So there's this test in California that actually was that was discussed in a case. It was like, back in like the 1990s, I think. It's called Dynamex something, but it's called the ABC test. And what it means, essentially, that court established that every person who works for another company or another individual is an employee. Like they are assumed to be an employee, and then the employer has to prove that they are not an employee and they're actually an independent contractor. And from that, they have to prove 3 separate conditions, and they have to prove all of them. If they can't prove one of them, then that person is an employee, essentially. So those 3 things are, I think the first one is control and direction. And that was kind of like what I was explaining before, whether or not the company has direct control over the work product that you produce. And I think that in your case, yes and no, maybe. But I think a good example of that would be what I was just saying. Like, does that person have to work in the office from 9 to 5? Is the person's, the projects that they work on, like, does it get changed significantly once they get that project from you? And do you have to rework it or whatever? I mean, you get to choose whether or not you want to do that, but then you get paid more money for doing additional work, if that makes sense, right? So that's one of the criteria. The second one is whether or not the business is outside of the scope of the actual business that you're working for. So like a good example of that would be, like say an electrician comes into the KINN. Like that electrician doesn't work here, but they've been hired by the KINN to come in and fix the lights in here. And that person has the ability to go work at multiple different other like clubs or anywhere in the area in order to be an electrician and help fix the lights. Mm-hmm. So that would lend to the fact that that person is an independent contractor because his work is outside the scope of what the KINN does. But someone like like say a graphic designer that was that was working for a design company or something, and they wanted to do a 9 to 5 and they had the ability to go there, but they wanted to be an independent contractor, but that business or whatever they're doing is within the scope of that design company. Like they're a design company, they create, models or whatever it is that they create. I mean, and I would say that graphic designer is an employee because it's within the scope of the business. Yeah, whatever the business is doing. What?
My business example.
Okay, go for it.
Medical clinic. Mm-hmm. We don't do marketing, but we need marketing. Mm-hmm. So hiring someone outside of my company to do the marketing on a semi-regular basis. They have no ties to my company as an employee because they have no email address. They don't keep hours. They're not required to do anything other than the marketing, and they have other customers that are other clients. That is how I would classify my 1099s.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone else that works in my company is a W-2.
Right, for sure. That's a really great example, Britt. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Glad I'm doing the right thing.
Yes, exactly.
Always a relief.
Yes. Always a relief, right? because I think that's also something that happens is that a lot of business owners also are worried that they're not following the law. Mm-hmm. If they and if they make a mistake, they don't know if they are making a mistake. But I think that the law is really set up to protect workers, and a lot of workers don't know that it's set up to help you, basically. But you can't just relinquish your rights under the labor code, essentially.
So just curious, if I'm an independent contractor and I'm working mostly for a company, can I still have other clients? So let's say I was working from 9 to 5, but I'm making that choice.
Right.
I'm working as much as I'm working. No one's telling me to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm fitting in other clients.
Yeah, that is a really great question because it's the third condition in the ABC test, actually. So an employer would have to show, if they want to show that their worker isn't an employee but an independent contractor, they'd have to show that that person can do several other jobs within the same industry. So if you are providing your services outside of your main job and you can make a significant amount of income or whatever, if you want to make whatever amount, that would lend towards the fact that you're an independent contractor as opposed to an employee. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I dispel a question, like I guess a theory, or
Okay.
even maybe, I don't even know if it's a theory.
Dispel.
Okay, let me restart that.
No, I mean that's.
Can I?
I actually was saying, yeah, dispel.
Oh, okay. So maybe I used that word wrong. Okay, so I guess the question that I have is, I was working for a group that provided the option. It sounds like, Leah, you've been provided the option as well. And in this scenario, it was I could make more per hour or higher salary in that case if I were an independent contractor because I was not receiving benefits. And is that something that you see? And is there a benefit to the employer to do that? And I feel like in this case, I would have been misclassified had I taken that role as a 1099. But just in general, it's like enticing to say, well, I get more money at the end of the day. And then sure, I have to figure out taxes on my own. What does that look like from your perspective?
Well, I think that it's common what you're describing. And I think that, yes, well, like they incentivize you by saying, oh, we'll pay you more if you don't act as an employee. It's because it's vastly more expensive to hire an employee than it is to hire an independent contractor. And
Correct.
you know that yourself.
It is.
Right? Yeah. And it's because of all the taxes that you do actually pay. And it's because
And benefits.
And benefits. Like, so as the worker, you kind of have to take that into account. Like, say you get let go from that job and that's your main source of income, you don't get unemployment benefits. And that's a lot of money that you would be getting every month that you could rely on in those moments.
But is it that you also, the independent contractor, don't they have the opportunity to expense more and take home more money as well? Are there benefits
Yeah, but like
on that side as well?
I don't think it's like in my opinion, it's kind of negligible in certain ways, because in a lot of ways, if you're trying to, first of all, I'm not a tax attorney. We should also, I'm going to tell you guys that you should talk to your tax attorney and you should also talk to
Good point.
an accountant, right? And I'm also not trying to circumvent the IRS and your requirements for paying your taxes properly. Okay. But
I just want to say on the air that I want to do things correctly.
yeah, I know. That's what's
We all
happening
do.
is everyone's asking the questions. Like that's why we have created this space, is where everyone can ask these questions and not feel scared or worried. And I will give you honest answers. I think that if you try to work the system, you might get penalized, because the IRS does know that people do this and they try to weed those people out. They're not going to weed out the people who are not making a ton of money. They're going to weed out the people who are making $1 million and are writing off everything. So like, I would love to have written off my sandwich today, but can I? Can I really? I mean, I'm in a sense an independent contractor, and I mean, I'm not. I'm a business owner. But I can. I own a business, so I should be able to write off everything. No, you can't. You can't write off everything. Like, I could write off my mileage that it took to get here, though.
So you say that it's going to change, or that people that make under $1 million aren't.
No. I just gave an example. So when I was doing some of my research for this, I actually, because I like to make sure that I know the answer, and essentially some of the questions that we had, the answer brought me to a place. It's like, if you try to classify yourself as an independent contractor when you're actually acting like an employee, you could be penalized by the IRS, meaning you would have to pay a fine, potentially, meaning you wouldn't get the benefits of the write-offs that you're trying to make.
So that would fall on the independent contractor, not the employer?
No, yes, correct. The worker, not the employer. Right? I mean, especially if you have in writing that you chose to be an independent contractor as opposed to an employee.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
the very important
also, this is the
information, I
the
think.
thing about it. Like, an employer, if they give you the option to be an employee versus an independent contractor, in my opinion, you take the employee position because it's safer. And not a lot of people are getting that opportunity. And
Not a lot of people are
getting the opportunity to have the employment position. There's so many more independent contractors out there looking for work. I mean, I think it's like 7.5% of the population is an independent contractor, and over a third of the American population has some sort of side hustle. So
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So you're saying that being an employee is actually more desirable?
Yes.
For many people.
Absolutely. It's so much safer. So much safer. Yeah.
But the taxes are
the taxes come back to you if you make like a smaller amount of money. And if I can explain to you how you do things.
You still are paying taxes.
Yeah,
you're having to do this independently. I think it's and can I interject as a business
absolutely.
person?
Yeah.
I think it's also a mindset here. So I think you have to think about your future and where you're moving forward. Are you going to build out and create something from what you're doing now? Meaning, with your endeavors, do you aspire to build a business from this and you're working as a quote consultant for this company that you're currently working with? Or are you just looking to get around paying some taxes? And as she says, it's kind of a moot point when it comes down to the tax issue. But if you have aspirations to, hey, I have this skill and I'm providing this to this company and as a 1099 because I aspire to build out my clientele and build something bigger than myself, maybe bring on other people, maybe be an actual business owner one day. Right. I think that is a mindset that you should maybe consider. And this is not legal and perfect, like actual, I guess you don't take my word for it.
We should talk to our lawyer friend.
What do you think, lawyer friend?
Can you let us know? Are we on the right track here?
I will provide this advice off the air.
But that's kind of the mindset that I'm thinking here when we're talking about classification and what that looks like and just to consider. Again, don't take my word for it.
But. Yeah, no, I think it is a good thing to consider for sure. And
I think those are the things that I would consider. Yeah, or that's what I would take in, or that I'm thinking about. Do I want other clients?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or are there little side gigs that
and that
would be worth taking?
More towards the fact that you would be an independent contractor as opposed to an employee.
Keep in mind when you're a W-2, you can still have a side hustle as long as there's no conflict of interest and you are not like you're not performing your tasks, or it's not affecting your performance of the tasks that you're performing in that W-2.
Yeah.
I can't tell you I don't know many people who have a W-2 job that don't have some type of side hustle in this economy, in this day and time.
And then you have the protections of being an employee. So you can still have your side hustle. The only way that they can tell you can't have it is if it's impacting your performance at your main job.
Correct.
But what about work hours?
So I'm not going to advocate that you do work for another job while you're at your job during that day. However, like, if you want to take an hour of your time that would be your lunch hour to do your other job, they can't do anything about it because that's your break. You can take breaks throughout the day.
Just make sure you're strategic about it, you're honest about it. And I think, again, let's simplify it. Because it's not a simple matter, but I think we can simplify it and say, coming back to your mindset and what are your goals? If your goal is to one day expand, and no, we can't necessarily do that on day one, and you're on a path, then I think that lends more to the 1099, it sounds like. Yeah. And then the W-2 would be, I need security, I need consistency, I need guaranteed hours, and I need benefits. I wouldn't base this on what your benefits are with the tax situation. But either way, we all have to pay taxes.
Right. Yeah.
It's painful. We have to do it.
It's extremely painful. I hate it.
The more money I make, the more taxes I pay. Yeah. And I'm learning to be grateful that
However, there are ways to bring that tax burden down, guys. I can tell you. When you make more money, there are really great ways, and namely the biggest one is giving money back. Like find different organizations that you really care about and things that you want to give money to, because that money's either going to go to the government or it's going to go to those organizations.
That's really
And it is a way to, because they take that money, it's non-taxed income essentially. So say I give $15,000 to different organizations. I think I really like Music Cares. It's this organization that puts more music funding into schools, I think. I'm pretty positive that's what they do.
Nice plug.
I know, right? Music Cares. But it brings down what my tax bracket is. So I make sure I'm telling you all, I make sure every year that I give a certain amount of money away so that my tax bracket gets lowered, so that I actually pay less in taxes and I get a huge return every year.
That sounds smart.
We're getting deep into the tax situation, and I know we're not tax attorneys, so thank you, Anne, for that. I love it. But ultimately, I think we really have narrowed down what this means and how this looks. And I think at the end of the day, we need to look at, do we have a good an accountant? First of all, I do.
Yeah, I've got a great accountant.
I do. And if
love
you
him.
don't,
I think we have the same accountant, man.
I think we do. Yeah. I really like him.
and I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway for this moment right here. But Leah, I want to hear what you had to say because you had a great question earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if, let's say I was an employee and the side gig that I had was just hosting dinners once a month.
Mm-hmm.
If, let's say, that once a month happened to fall during work hours, I had to leave work on a Tuesday at 3 to get ready for the dinner. And I'm transparent about it with my employer and I make up the hours elsewhere. That's appropriate, right? That's okay.
Yeah. Well,
Is it?
Especially if you're an independent contractor.
Oh,
But if you are an employee, yes, it is okay. If you're an employee, as long as it's not impacting your work and
It's an agreement with you and your employer
Right.
at that moment.
yeah.
right. So
But
if
you
I
don't-
get it approved,
And
so
even
let's
if
say
you
if
get
I,
it approved, that's even better.
right.
Get it in writing.
So if I'm an employee and I have little side gigs and I'm just really open and honest with my employer,
But I be careful.
oh, I mean, I want to do a great job and I want to be really
course,
invested.
yeah.
I'm just saying if there's an opportunity that brings in some revenue
Right.
and it's,
Yeah.
is that just want to make sure I'm not
Yes.
getting in trouble.
I
getting
think
myself in trouble.
transparency is really great. It's fantastic. However, sometimes employers are not as accepting of particular ventures that we want to take on the side because it might not benefit them or it might not be in kind with whatever it is that they are after. I mean, whatever they're doing, whatever they're producing.
I can tell you as an employer myself, it's not something I would look fondly on because it takes away from the focus of the purpose of having that person there.
Right.
It really is going to come down to the openness of this employer, the nature of the work that you're doing, the relationship you have with that employer. And if you're that lucky, I'd love for you to come back and join us again and let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's impossible. I think we're coming to a place in society where we're becoming more open to, making it work for everybody. So
Right.
good luck with that.
Yeah.
It sounds to me though, like you work a lot. I think the biggest thing the three of us women have in common is we work a lot.
Yeah.
And yet I learned something from you through Anne about this noodling.
Yes.
And I want to hear more about it when we come back. So everybody stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about noodling and what that means.
Yay. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We have finished our discussion about independent contractors and employees, thank God. And here we are with Leah and Britt to talk about a really fun concept called noodling.
I'm
Leah?
not going to lie. I feel a little looser now.
Do
We've
you?
moved on from the law talk.
I figured that was going to happen.
And I'm feeling a little bit more like a noodle. And
Like a noodle.
I believe that I am
like a wet, wiggly noodle.
Leah,
I'm actually sitting
More
more
comfortably.
comfortably like a noodle would.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Leah, I'm dying to know, what is this y'all keep talking about with noodling? I'm sitting here trying to figure out in my head, okay, in the South, we
I
stick our
know.
hand in holes and pull out catfish.
Right? And
What
I
could
learned
this
that.
be?
Yeah.
What could this be?
So I'll just start by saying that the noodle does what the noodle wants.
I love that though. Noodle does what noodle wants. Love it.
Okay, so the noodle started at a time where I was actually with a significant other, and we would smoke a little weed and go get a massage. It was called Little Thailand or something in Hollywood, and then it was in this little mall that was kind of interesting and had these little Asian restaurants, and we would go get a massage, and then we would stumble
Noodle.
on, we would just go on to the next thing, which would be food.
Right.
But we started to call ourselves noodles. We would say we're just going to noodle on to the next thing. And so then the concept expanded with with it being kind of like a cute way with your friends and family to say do not disturb.
Yeah.
It's a do not disturb, but it's cute. So my friends and family know that when I say I'm having a noodle day, that means it's a time to let me be and do what and just stumble on to the next thing, whatever that is.
The world is your oyster.
So is this a way of saying, leave me alone for the day?
Leave me alone for the day, but also be mindful that I am a noodle. So if you do decide to call me,
So good.
I might not answer.
I might not answer, and you can't be mad at me about it.
Right?
She may just reply with a picture of her with her red light mask thing on with her legs up with red light all over the place.
The noodle
She's like,
can
I'm noodling.
decide if the noodle wants to engage with you.
Yeah.
And if the noodle does not respond, you already knew that I was having a noodle day. And if you decide to call me, just be mindful again. And silliness is always welcome. And if you have, the only time that we can talk about something serious is if it's a dire emergency.
I like it. Now,
Life or death.
I have to ask,
Life or death.
how are you notifying everyone, and do you plan the dates? Are you saying, okay, on June 28th, my schedule is already clear, so I'm going to have a noodle day? Or do you say you wake up that morning, you have a headache already, you need to go get a massage, so it becomes a noodle day? How does this work?
It's usually, it's a way to say, hey guys, been a long week. It's a noodle day. I'm going to have a noodle day today. Or you can, yes, I do schedule in noodle days.
Okay.
Do you really?
I do schedule them in sometimes.
I love that.
If I've had, but for the most part, a noodle day comes when you need it.
Right? Yeah.
And your friends and family support that because that's what it means.
Yeah.
It means I need this, and I love you, and I support your noodle days, so please support mine.
Right. But honestly, I think it means different things for different people. Like for Leah, it seems like it's like a do not disturb thing. Like I don't want to be talked to.
Yeah.
For me,
I want to say that's not true.
but it isn't totally like, can other people, I guess that's what I should say. Do you invite others into your noodle day with you?
Yes, you can co-noodle.
No. Can't.
It's like there's like noodle plus there's noodle pluses like
Canoodle.
That's you just said
like
canoodle.
canoodle.
you
Canoodling.
can co-noodle, and also some people you might not be good co-noodles for you. You have to have like
This
a
is true.
compatible noodle.
I'm crying. This is hilarious.
I'm serious. I know you think this is funny, but
It's really
so
good,
yes,
though.
you can
I wish you
co-noodle.
could see the
But
look.
sometimes you need your own noodle day, and then sometimes other people are involved, and that's fine.
Right. It's fine.
It's just I think that we need to just remember that the noodle is something that's just really relaxed, and
It
it's
is.
just a day that means you're just doing what you feel in the moment,
Totally.
and you're going on to the next thing. If you decide to play catch, you see a patch of grass and you have a ball and you want to play catch, you go
As
play
one
catch.
does.
As one does.
and then you're like, I'm not in the mood for this anymore. I feel like doing the next thing.
Is cannabis involved sometimes?
It doesn't always have to be involved. It's just how
Yeah.
it started.
Right.
And-
just how it started. Okay.
And I'm just realizing
Because my
something.
muscles were relaxed
I'm sorry.
and noodles are relaxed.
okay.
I had a noodle day.
You totally did. I was going to mention to you that you totally
2
did.
weeks ago.
Yeah, it was last week.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm so happy about? I'm happy that I just met Brittany. I mean, well, I know I met you once
Right.
before, but
Yeah.
I'm really getting to know you today.
Yeah.
I love that Anne has passed on the noodle to you.
Well, she
And
didn't know.
I didn't
she didn't
know.
know that she was having a noodle day when she had it, and I was like, "Oh, girlfriend, you just had a noodle day."
That
I
sounds like a
have-
noodle day.
I have about 9 irons in the fire right now. At any given time, I have about 12, but I have about 9 irons in the fire. And I think what happened was the universe just basically gave me a huge, like, slow down, stop, hang out, a wet noodle in the face is what I feel like.
Oh, wet.
I woke up that morning and I noodled, and I didn't know that's what I was doing. And it was 4 o'clock and I was still in my bathrobe. I had this chair. I'm not going to lie. I had this Papazon chair that is a rocking chair, right? It's my new life. Team is my life right now. And I'm on a budget these days. And I was in this chair and I couldn't really get out of the chair. It was just so soothing. And I am not the person on any given day, 7 days a week, to not work. Check my emails, respond right away, be productive, show up, do what I need to do. I've never felt so good.
Do you know what a noodle would say?
What?
A noodle would say, "Not today."
Not today. And that's what I said. I was a noodle. That's what I said. And it
Leah
felt good.
and her
It felt real.
one-liners today. Her one-liners.
I love it.
Not
I am
today.
digging your vibe right now.
You wake up in the morning and you're just on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to say no.
It
Yeah.
is an opportunity.
A noodle would take that opportunity if it was like my body's like, oh my God.
100%.
I mean, it's just like it's just a feeling. You know when you
Okay.
need a noodle. Like
Yeah.
you're like your body's asking for it.
Okay, so quick question. For these W-2s that we've been talking about previously in the previous segment, would you suggest for a W-2 that needs to show up to their 9 to 5 that they call in sick maybe? Is this a sick day they would take to do
You
a
know
noodle?
what? Maybe this is why I'm having a hard time with this decision.
Maybe you haven't had a noodle day in a
Because
while.
I just want to make sure that I can be a noodle when I want to be a noodle.
Totally.
Maybe that's it.
I don't remember the last time I had a noodle day. I mean, God, when we first started talking about the noodle day stuff, my life was very different. I think it was like we were both single, actually. It was years ago. And I had a day on like a Saturday, and you told me what I was doing was noodling. That you were like, Anne, you're noodling around the day right now. And it was the pandemic. It was like 2020. And almost like there were no restaurants open. However, I just stumbled into this really cute little place in Santa Monica on Main Street that was a really great restaurant that had turned into a little like a little grocery
I remember
store.
Prince. It was like Prince or something.
It was Little Prince, yes.
Little Prince.
And they ended up serving me some like carnitas, which was delicious, and fed me like free natural wine. And I was with my dog, Ellie, and she like sat on their little booth with me, and we had a fantastic day. And then we just kind of walked around the streets and went shopping. And then I ended up meeting somebody that I went and grabbed drinks with later. So it was a really great day. And that was my noodle day.
The thing I like about this the most is this is not a typical Saturday. You know, a lot of Saturdays people get up and they have their routines in the morning, but then it can be a noodle day. This is literally any day of the week. It's like, hey guys, not today.
Yeah.
I woke up, I'm realizing I can't do
It's
this.
a personal day.
I can't do adulting. I can't do whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And it's something that I think we all need more of. This is
We totally do.
you know, talk about self-care. This is definitely
It's a
is
quality.
self-care.
It's a quality of life check. It's like,
Totally.
hold up a minute. Where's my quality of life at? Let's get that in order, and
get it
then
in
we'll
check.
get back to it.
Well, I have
Right.
to ask, is there a noodle kit? So I'm one of those people. I'm serious,
Like-
guy. Just
like a
just
first aid
follow
kit,
me here,
but-
okay? I like to
I've-
be prepared. You know, I lost my purse earlier, and it changed the mood of everyone within 10 miles of me. Okay,
Yeah.
we're all good now. Everyone can breathe.
Much better.
But I am a preparer, a planner, an organizer. Do we have suggestions for the ideal noodle kit? So when we wake up, we have our kit ready to go, and we can actually noodle with so much ease.
Can we
Listen,
all
I
say
think
what would
this
be
is.
in our
I think
noodle
this
kit?
might be my side gig, guys.
It's
Creating a
got-
noodle
I think that
kit?
it could be.
Guys,
Brand it.
I'm serious. Revolutionary, right?
Yeah. Okay,
I want
so
in.
let me think about this for a minute. The noodle kit.
And we're
the noodle
copywriting
kit-
and trademarking this right now, just so you all know.
Yes. Everybody needs to know.
Well, it's actually, it would be trademark. So yeah.
So when I think about someone's noodle kit, I think first of all, I think it could be tailored, because
Yeah.
the things that I would put in my noodle kit are things that provide me relaxation.
Yeah.
Right. But can we have like basic things in this little noodle kit that like could be universal? And then you can maybe have extra little, I don't know, contraptions or little dispensers.
I mean, I would put this in my noodle kit. I have a little oil here.
Oh.
To bring me to the moment.
It's like a relaxing,
Like
calming
an
oil.
aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you could have, so we could put some sort of aromatherapy in every kit.
Yeah.
Maybe like,
I have something. I mean,
tissues?
I'm thinking about something. I mean, it's not inappropriate. I mean, something that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those things. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think she might have been alluding to a female device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got that.
Yeah, that was good.
10-4.
10-4.
Moving
Big
on.
10-4. Moving
You know, I
on.
like this idea of marketing noodle kits that are tailored to your needs, tailored to your interests, tailored to what. This is a great idea. I just didn't know if you had a specific thing where you're prepared because when the noodle comes on, it's time to like be a noodle. Don't want to do a lot of thinking, you know. So snacks and any provisions.
Snacks should
I'm a
be
snack,
in there too.
Yeah, I'm a snack person.
Yeah.
You guys,
Protein.
I'm actually the noodle is starting to feel like this might be going against the noodle because we're planning too much.
It's lack
I
of
see.
planning.
Okay,
We're planning too much. We're trying to like get the noodle kit together, get the snacks together.
Oh, but see, look at
no. I'm sorry.
But
The
see,
noodle,
like you're with two type A people here.
That's we are.
I'm gonna I think I might need to start to give noodle lessons.
Okay.
Maybe. So it's
the noodle,
don't have a plan.
The noodle does not put the snacks together and trying to think about what has to be in the noodle kit. It's what do I feel like getting, and I'm gonna go get that thing.
Yeah.
That's
gonna
part of
go
the
get
process.
Any worry.
I feel like ice cream, so let me
I'm
just
gonna go have
noodle
some
on
ice
to
cream.
the ice cream shop.
So it's not about not doing things. This is not your Sabbath. This is, you can still exert energy to do those things. I get it now. And actually I'm thinking about it, and the noodle day that I had, I didn't know I was noodling. There were no provisions planned. I just did it, and it was a beautiful thing. Do you ever have those days where you don't have plans and you show up with, and like you said, maybe you go have some lunch or brunch or whatever, and you run into friends, and then you say, hey, let's grab a glass of wine. And the next thing you know, it's midnight, and you've had the most wonderful day that you could never have recreated if you plan it. But then when you do plan it with the same group of friends, it just doesn't turn out the same. Do you have that experience?
Yes,
Noodles,
and that is why
noodling.
Noodles are present.
Noodles are totally present.
They're totally present. And
Yes.
I think noodling is also a mindset. So if you ran into people that maybe you didn't want to run into, the noodle mindset is we're going to be cool. We're going to stick with this, and we're going to move on from, because we're having our noodle day, and noodles have boundaries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also,
Noodles do have boundaries. Yeah.
Also, you said something about exerting energy, and like sometimes the noodle's really tired, and there's the noodle it could be a playful noodle day, but if it's a tired noodle day, Uber Eats.
Okay.
Pay the $30 to just get the ice cream.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The noodles can indulge. They're like, you know what? I'm having an in-bed noodle day.
Right.
And if it costs me $30 to get that ice cream, I'm gonna
seriously. I mean, it's
I'm gonna pull the
like
trigger.
that concept of
$30.
because this will really make my day.
right.
is
But it's the
eating ice
concept
cream
of
in bed.
buy yourself the fucking latte, right?
I think I'm starting to really get this concept now. And I had one idea of it, but now it really makes sense to me of the biggest thing is being in the moment and not worrying about what the next thing is. It's like when you finish that thing, then you'll figure it out because it'll come to you what you want to do next, or what you want to eat, or who you want to talk to. And that I think we should do more. I think we should do more of this.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
I
likewise.
love
Ding,
this.
ding. You
Isn't
got
it great? Yeah.
Okay, so I want to wrap it up by asking you one question.
Okay.
Do you have 3 tenets that you could share with us that would be things to remember to create your most ideal noodle day?
I bet she doesn't, because that's not
Well,
what
one
noodling
would be
is
being
about.
in the moment.
Well,
You said
okay.
tenants?
Tenets. 3
Tenets, like-
tenets of a noodle day. In order to have
Like-
a successful noodle day,
3 ingredients.
3 ingredients.
Okay. The 3 ingredients would be your mindset.
Okay.
It's like you're going into noodle mindset. You've made this choice, and ain't no one gonna fuck with the noodle.
No one's coming in. No
Ain't
one's
no
gonna
one.
fuck with the noodle.
I
Ain't
love
no
that.
one.
Okay. Boundaries, number 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then if they do, there will be a post noodle discussion.
Okay.
post noodle discussion.
Yeah, you're like,
worry about it
they
later.
just really upset me right now, but we're going back into noodle mode.
And
Okay.
Sally
And
might
tomorrow-
be there.
And tomorrow I'm gonna let them know that. Sorry, that was Sally. Tomorrow I'm gonna let them know that they need to have noodle days too. I think in order for someone to respect your noodle day, you have to let them experience one and show them by example how you respect theirs.
Yeah.
And then it's like it creates healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had a noodle day in Paris my last day I was there, and I literally just didn't respond to anyone's questions or emails. And it was easy because I was in Paris and everyone who was needing me was in California. But it was a pretty fantastic day.
It feels
So I
good.
love
I
that.
walked
I think
like 30,000 steps that day.
when you said that, I think it's also really important to remember that you can't abuse noodle days,
did
because
I-
then no, meaning that you said you didn't answer anyone and it was great and blah blah blah. Your friends and your loved ones know that if you're always a noodle,
Yeah.
they're not
They're
going
like,
to respect your noodle.
you're
day.
just noodling through life, man.
I mean, hey, look, you know what? I think we'll talk. I'm going to think about that a little bit more. But all I'm saying is, if you're never answering people and everything like that,
Right, but I don't do that.
yeah.
But it was
So all
just
I'm
a
saying
day.
is training people to respect the noodle days.
It sounds like
Right.
there's a lot for us to experience with noodling. I would love to have you back on to talk about, now that I know what noodling is. I don't know if this ruins it for me because I'm aware of what I'm doing, but I think it's great insight.
Great way to end that. Okay, so on every episode, we ask a fun question of each other. And
Okay.
this one is super fun, and I'm going to let Britt ask you first, Leah, and then I guess I'll go.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that I wasn't prepared for this.
So-
Yes, you were. I texted you it earlier.
Oh.
You gave me a thumbs up.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I must have forgotten.
So is Leah going first? Is that what you?
Yeah, ask Leah. Or ask me. I don't care.
I'm going to ask you first because we're more prepared. I feel like just
We
being
are
that
more
we've had
prepared.
weeks to think about this.
Weeks.
Days actually.
Days.
Just kidding. What is the craziest way you have ever broken up with someone?
So we actually are asking this because we got this question from a nice gentleman that we met this weekend doing some a new follower, doing some social media marketing stuff. And I thought about it, and probably the craziest way I've ever broken up with someone was probably one of the meanest ways I've ever broken up with someone. And I was 20 years old. I was studying abroad with my good friend Deanna in London, and we had these terrible dorm rooms that had green, like bright green carpets. And we thought it would be a good idea to do yoga in there after we had several mimosas.
Yoga and mimosas.
And I had decided that I really liked this one, Swedish model that I had met. He was very handsome. Turned out to not be a very nice guy, but he was very handsome, and that was important to me at the time. And I did not any longer want to be with my boyfriend that I had back home in California. And I thought it would be the best way to break up with him would be to break up with him on speakerphone while I was doing yoga in downward dog
Oh my gosh.
with Deanna in the room.
So was it because of the shiny new toy, or was it because the shiny new toy
I
made
think
you
that was maybe that, probably that. I also think that I was young. I was studying abroad, and that wasn't going to be my person. And could I go back? If I could go back, I would have done it differently, but I don't think it was the wrong choice.
But can you tell us what his response was, please?
Oh, it wasn't good. It wasn't
Nice.
a good response. It wasn't very nice.
I don't mean to laugh. That was actually
No,
true.
he tried to ruin my life afterwards,
Yeah.
and told me that he was going to try. He says, "Watch, I'm going to ruin your life." He tried, but failed.
Yeah, you're still good.
Wow.
Still standing.
He tried.
Yeah.
Leah, what's your story? Do you have a good story? Good breakup story?
I mean, I just go back to 7th grade when I had messengers. Okay, so I actually had many boyfriends in 7th grade.
Oh my gosh, Leah.
Yes.
At once.
I barely talked to them.
Of course.
Actually, I think that I had my messenger, I had messengers come to me asking if I'm going to say Joe can be my boyfriend.
Joe
I
Schmo.
said yes.
Mm-hmm.
They told them yes. And then we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Of course.
And we would sit next to each other sometimes. And once I was over them, I would then have my another messenger break up with them. And I had a yearbook, and I circled all the boyfriends that I had.
Oh wow.
Yes, I so
Well,
yeah,
you're a cutie.
Messengers.
So
Messengers.
breaking hearts in 7th grade.
I mean,
Those poor
I'm pretty
guys.
sure I also got.
Do you know
broken
any
up
of their names? I remember this guy
gosh,
that I
I just
liked
really
when I was
remember.
like in 5th grade. His name was Carson Carpenter. And now this guy, if he ever watches this, he'll know.
with. Actually, I do
So
remember
cute.
one of. Okay.
Yeah.
What was his name? Say one more time.
Carson Carpenter. Is it the
Carson
same guy?
Carpenter.
I know, it's a great name, right?
What is he? I wonder what he's up to these days.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay, Martin. And I remember his name because he was my first makeout. We would go to the beach. It was like a thing where we would go to the beach and put a towel over our heads. And I was really nervous for that moment because all the cool kids were doing it. And I told my mom this, and she said I was like, Mom, I'm really scared this is gonna happen to me. And she's like, okay, well, if it comes to it, just spell your name in his mouth. And I said, oh my God, okay, that's how I make out. Cool. So we put the towel over my head, and I remember I was like, oh God, here we go. And I told Martin, let's get this over with.
Oh,
And I spelled my name in his mouth.
poor Martin.
Cute.
Did you make out like that for a while? Like afterwards?
No, I learned how to make out, but
That's-
that was the first time.
Okay.
Just, any hoo-ha.
You brought a lot to us today, Leah.
Yeah,
this
you
has been
did.
a lot of fun.
Okay,
I really
Brittany.
appreciate it.
I
Okay,
wonder
your
if Martin's
turn.
listening.
mine's not that crazy. I was just really not into this guy and didn't know how to do it. So I said, look, I'm going out of town for a bit. And I'm going to be very busy with family. There's a lot going on in my family. I'll call you back. It's like, don't call me, I'll call you. They don't listen.
They don't.
And I just never called him back. So of course he reaches out to me 2 or 3 weeks later, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm coming back into town.
Yeah.
It's over.
Ta-ta.
Nothing crazy, but
So
that's
long.
just, it was me being a wuss. I'm not really good at the breakup thing.
I know. I think that we all need to get better at breaking up with people, especially in like our 30s, because we're more emotionally evolved, and
100%.
we should just like try to just, without ghosting people. We should stop ghosting people. I'm trying to stop ghosting people.
Yeah.
And on that note of breaking up, I think we have to break up with our
We do.
followers at the moment. It's been quite a day. We've
We're not
learned
breaking up
so
with you. We're
much,
just going to leave.
and I appreciate everyone who is
And
following
we will
us.
be back.
So we'll
We
be
might
back
definitely
will
be
be
back
back.
next week.
next week. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
If you have any questions or other topic suggestions for us, please share at hello@mylawyerfriendpodcast.com.